Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our next GlossGenius workshop event. My name is Danny Berkowitz, and I am the Community Programs Manager here at GlossGenius. I am so excited to lead tonight's conversation, Taking Control of Your Business Finances. I hope that everyone who joins tonight is excited to break through some walls and feel a little bit more confident about taking the reins of your business in your hands. I am super excited to be joined tonight by my special guests. I would love to start by introducing our incredible and almost famous special guest tonight. I'd love to introduce everyone to AJ Schneider, who is a financial freedom coach and the money mom. We are so excited to have AJ here with us tonight because of her unique approach to personal development and financial planning. I think everyone who meets AJ tonight is going to feel a little less alone and feeling really strong in the place that they are in, because that's what AJ makes you feel. She's not only a successful business coach with lots of wisdom under her belt, she owns Beyond the Green Coaching, but she's also a mother to a beautiful 3-month-old named Mira, who we were very honored to meet last week on our prep call. So AJ, welcome. We are so excited to have you here. I also have the pleasure of co-hosting tonight's workshop with my brilliant colleague, Amber D'Angelo. Amber is joining us as the Customer Success Manager here at GlossGenius, and you can catch her on the GlossGenius stage once a week with the Getting Started Live seminars or the webinars that GlossGenius hosts, where she dedicates an hour a week to helping out beauty and wellness professionals through the GlossGenius app from top to bottom. And she's also a professional makeup artist for over 13 years and has previously run her own makeup bridal business in Southern California before making it over to the East Coast. So we have some superstars in the house tonight. I'm little old me, so excited to host this evening with you all and really find the power of community between our GlossGenius empire and those who are really looking for a better solution for their business. So we're going to guide you through an hour of insight, focusing on customization and financial control as a pathway to growth, not only for you, but for your business as well. Our goal tonight is for you to walk away with some valuable skills that will enable you to take control of your business finances, enhance your financial practices, and honestly just foster a positive financial mindset, because we all know that the taboos are real and those chains that hold us down are so real, and we're just thrilled. So this evening, we're going to chat with AJ and Amber, but we also want to welcome everyone who's joining us here tonight. So before we begin, please introduce yourself in the chat, share your name, where you're based. We'd love to get to know you. We also have some really fun features on our platform Livestorm that will help us connect. We've got some reactions. We have, of course, the chat section. And then if you do have a question throughout tonight's event, please do share it in the questions tab so that we can take a look at it and hopefully answer it together live. So welcome. Ooh, I've seen people from all over. I see Texas, Atlanta, Ohio, more Texas. We've got some Jacksonville, Florida in the house, Duval County, shout out.
We got Boston.
We got Boston. AJ and Amber, welcome to the both of you. Hi, are you ready?
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yay, awesome. So if you are joining us here tonight and you're not a part of the GlossGenius community yet, but you'd like to try it out, feel free to scan this QR code here that will lead you to our sign up page, and you can try GlossGenius out for free for the first 2 weeks. Hopefully by the end of tonight's session, you'll also learn a couple things about some of the GlossGenius magical features that we offer that helps you take control of your business finances. All right, ladies, let's get started. So, we are going to run through some breakthroughs and taboos that will help you illuminate some areas of potential growth and some potential areas that you can shed some of those things that are holding you back from really feeling confident with your business finances. We're also going to dive into how you can change your financial reality. This is one of the reasons why we asked AJ to join us here tonight, because of her extraordinary journey that she's taken. We also, I'm going to make this. We also are going to offer you an opportunity to craft your own unique financial workflow and learning some tips on how to take control of your finances while also customizing the experience that your clients go through every appointment, when booking, after the fact, and throughout their service. And then we'll also touch on some questions that we got from the audience ahead of time. Thank you to those who submitted those. Wow, we have a whole range of folks from all over in the house tonight. Thank you so much for everyone that's here right now. Let's get started. So, AJ, it is so wonderful to welcome you here tonight. How has your week been? What's on your mind?
My week's been great. What is on my mind right now? I literally was handed my baby to my husband and I was like, I have to go. Like, go take the baby. So I'm currently at my friend's house because I have a 3-month-old, which Danny mentioned. And I'm just like, I can't even just emphasize how often gratitude gets to naturally come into my day, whereas sometimes it can feel like an effort and a practice. Right now, it's just like, wow, I can't believe this is my reality, even in the sticky, hard moments.
So true. And it's through those sticky moments that you feel even stronger after. You may not know it in the moment, but after the fact, it's like euphoric.
Yeah.
Amber, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us tonight. For those of you who recognize Amber from Getting Started, I hope that it's a pleasant surprise to have her on our GlossGenius stage in a community capacity tonight. Thank you for joining me and co-hosting tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. First of all, obviously as a makeup artist, these are my people, this is my community, so I couldn't be more excited to be here tonight. And even just with the meeting we had last week, meeting AJ, the wealth of knowledge that AJ has, I was like hanging on to these little nuggets. So I'm really excited for everyone to learn and all of us to learn together and be here.
Emphasis on the wealth of knowledge. I love that. Thank you so much, Amber. All right. So when it comes to breaking through some of the inhibitions that are holding us back from feeling confident in building the business of our dreams, but specifically honing in on the scary stuff, the stuff that makes you kind of clench and feel nervous, and maybe even things that we avoid talking about or thinking about. I think what society tells us, and for our beauty and wellness professionals who went to school for this, there is not enough education out there. There are not enough resources that can really empower pros in the space to feel confident on their own, and also empower them with the tools and resources that they need to be successful. AJ, I am so enamored by your story, and I'd love for you to take a few moments in sharing what kind of journey you've been on from the beginning in terms of your, from where you were to being the CEO of Beyond the Green. What was that journey like?
Do we have a few hours?
Yep. Let me get my coffee.
I cannot begin to express how much I love working with beauty professionals, because I have been getting like massages and facials since I was like very little, like 11 years old, got my first facial. And I just love heart-centered businesses, and I always have, and I've always worked in service like throughout my life. And there's nothing better than supporting a business that loves, like supporting a person that loves we can call it a business, but you're a person, right? You love what you do and it's infectious and it makes everybody around you better. And so I'm so happy to be here. And I started this journey by basically doing everything wrong with money humanly possible. I was a struggling yoga instructor, so I feel very kindred to beauty professionals because I very much treated my craft as a business. And I was working really hard, running around New York City, teaching yoga, trying to be an influencer, trying to make it, defining, like learning what the definition of success meant to me. Is that how many people are in my class? Is that how much money am I making per class? Is that how many followers I have, how many likes, all of these metrics, and feeling really unfulfilled because I was in this crippling amount of personal debt and no savings, no plan for my future. And I just felt like I was living for the next thing versus like thinking about my life in this bigger picture. And I wanted things that I knew were going to take time. And I knew if I didn't make the decisions to change my situation now, I would never do it. And so,
Yep.
it's really hard to like tell people, like, hey, if you start doing this now, in 6 years, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, wow, that's what happened. But it really is what happened.
In that now or never kind of juxtaposition is something I think we've all experienced. And if you're not there yet, you're almost at that intersection. And it is like flying midair and you don't have that parachute, or you do have that parachute, but you didn't take the time to learn how it works. And so you're not sure which cord to pull, and that flailing. How do we, I think one of the things I admire so much about what you do at Beyond the Green is, and just your whole journey from being a small business owner and then continuing to own a small business, but growing that business from the ground up, is you have always had your eyes open to those moments of, this is a now or never opportunity. And if I don't take this risk, or if I don't try to set myself up for success, when sometimes that's not even like plain, as anybody can see, it's not always black and white. So that's something I've always really admired about you, and the reason why we wanted you to join us here tonight is because I think a lot of our community can relate to that. Is, these are sisters doing it for themselves. You know what I mean? And I think there's a lot of value in that entrepreneurial spirit, but knowing how far you have come and where you need to go is really, really key. Would you agree?
Yeah. And I think that when you get really clear about your vision for your life, not just your business, it shapes every decision that you make. So for me, I'm always have been an entrepreneur, whether I was a successful entrepreneur or an unsuccessful entrepreneur. I have that spirit in me. I've always worked. I've always basically worked for myself, even within a corporation, because I'm like an ambassador of that corporation. But I've always basically worked for myself, and you can get really lost in the moment needs. And if you are willing to take the risk of slowing down and saying no, and and doing less for a time being, like focusing in, you can actually build a full life, not just a great business, but all of your relationships are awful and you keep dating the wrong person, or like your family life is great, but like your business is in shambles because you keep not saying no to your family and you keep giving the money and you keep helping. It's about a holistic relationship with your business, with your money, with your life.
And one of the philosophies that I've heard you say, in terms of budgeting is that it can be a form of self-care. When did that light switch go off for you?
I am so glad you brought that up for
Because
you.
let me just point this out. When I think of self-care, it comes with a mimosa and a massage. I don't know about you, but budgeting is not the first thing that I was thinking about when I think of self-care. So
Yeah.
how do I and how do we transform the way that society tells us to feel about money and finances? And how can we like push through that?
Yeah. And I think, I mean, can we like all acknowledge like how much like our branding is around self-care, right? Like we're beauty professionals. Like nothing feels better than when I get my eyelashes done, which I'm getting on Thursday and I can't wait. And I like just got a facial last week. Like I can't wait for those things. But do you know what feels even better? Let me tell you what feels better. I can afford it. It's not going on a credit card that is putting me into debt and activating my sympathetic nervous system that making me feel like I'm not safe. So I was there. I looked the part. I did the self-care. I mean, I was a yoga instructor. I was like the epitome of what self-care is supposed to look like, right? I had my nails done. I had all the things and I was a wreck. I was so stressed. I knew it was inhibiting me from achieving my long-term goals. And it wasn't until I started getting my finances in order and I started saying no and saying yes to myself and my future and learning how to trust myself and respect myself that every chip in my life fell into place.
Yeah. I mean, mic drop. I think that that's a wonderful point to reflect on your self-identity and like kind of checking in with yourself too. Because owning a business is a lot of external output, but looking inward is the real challenge. AJ, I know that you wanted to engage with some of our community that's here tonight, and we wanted to ask a question to the chat around our identities. Would you like me to read it out loud for them?
Sure.
Great. So we want to ask, and feel free to put these responses in our chat. What are some identities that you have being a beauty professional and wellness professional with money? What are some of the identities that you have around money and finances for your business? And feel free. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no. Yeah. So it's like, oh, well, as a beauty professional, I don't have a real business. Or as a beauty professional, I can't have consistent income and I can't save. I can't get out of debt. It's a hobby. Exactly. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good with time management. What are some of those identities that you have felt as a beauty professional around your business and around money? Cash is king. The IRS is coming. Family doesn't believe you can do it. 100%. I didn't go to business school. Retirement savings, not a thing. I'm too busy. Oh, yeah. It's amazing how we use busy to
Mm-hmm.
avoid things in our lives.
Or also, AJ, just to jump in, people think it's just like you said, a fun little hobby. Oh, it must be so fun that you get to do makeup all day. You're like, I just worked a wedding where it was 10 hours. I was on my feet and I think I had a cup of coffee and like maybe a banana. Like, this isn't a hobby.
Yeah, when is booked and busy dangerous?
Yeah. It's so insulting. Like, it's like, look how gorgeous you look. I literally was like, does Amber come with this like call? Can she come over? Like I mean, and it's like that effortlessness, like, well, how long has it taken you to learn your craft and learn your skill? But here's the mic drop, in my opinion, is that who's not treating you with respect and who's not taking you seriously. And I'm going to say something, it's probably you. You are not taking yourself seriously by not taking care of your finances, by not showing up in your business, by not filing your taxes. And guys, let me tell you, I didn't file my taxes for 5 years. There's no shame here. I did everything wrong with money. But if you are not taking your business seriously, then nobody's going to take you seriously. Your family's not going to take you seriously. Your clients aren't going to take you seriously. And you're not going to feel an integrity about what you're doing because you feel like a mess.
Period.
I'm done with the sentence. We're just ending it right there. Period. The end.
Well, yeah, no is a complete sentence, right? That's AJ, I think that you're really speaking to the heart here. And if there's anyone who deserves more recognition and more capacity and more just love, it's our incredible community. As the service providers, I always say this, that you can't pour from an empty cup. And we've talked about this a lot when it comes to setting boundaries or getting organized with your business. In this case, taking control of your financial success or your business finances can really be about taking control of your vision, and not necessarily boundaries, but ways that this can open up opportunities for you at the same time. You're getting incredible feedback in the chat. I just want to call out some great moments. Playing when I'm not drinking water or food and don't have a break, that can be really dangerous. Not knowing your numbers, wanting to take your business to the next level, but not knowing how.
Yeah.
And we're getting some great questions in the chat too. If you have a question for AJ, feel free to put it in the questions section of Livestorm so that we can keep those organized within this amazing chat. So I think that's a great segue into something that we're going to touch on tonight, which is, how do we change that financial reality? Knowing what society tells us and knowing that we all need a little more empowerment. We all need to feel a little stronger. And maybe that starts with asking the right questions. I think, and I think, Shay, you make a great point here, is that, you have to be this bubbly, welcoming, have it all professional, but on the inside, what is that doing to you if you're not taking care of yourself? And taking care of yourself means taking care of your business and protecting your business at the same time.
Yeah.
Amber, I'm curious about your experience, because I know that you have been in the biz for over a decade and have, run a bridal business, but also continue to be a pro in the field. And having been on the GlossGenius team, you must hear a lot of stories about that empowerment aspect and wanting to feel more confident. Any notable ones that you can share with us here tonight?
I definitely think I love my job where I'm literally speaking to my community every day. And, whether it's about, and we'll go into this in a larger scale, but whether it's requiring deposits from your clients, you're outsourcing that money ahead of time. As a makeup artist, I have to make sure that my kit is clean, all the makeup's not expired. And let me tell you, liquid foundation expires after a year. That stuff gets very expensive. So if you're not holding a deposit or putting down policies and you feel like you're starting to be taken advantage of, it really starts to go into your pocket. And I've seen it, and I get this feedback day in and day out. So again, to the point that we're all talking about in this chat, like, yes, I'm a real business owner, and yes, I take myself seriously. I may make someone look beautiful or give them a beautiful massage or make them have the best lash extensions so they feel super confident going out into the world. Maybe they were doing the same as you, AJ. Maybe they were feeding a 3-month-old and their lashes are the one thing that make them look put together and they feel that they can take on the world. Great. And as a beauty professional, to be able to give that empowerment to someone that's my favorite part of the job. to be honest. So maybe I rambled a bit, Danny, but it definitely pulls on my heartstrings here.
No, for your perspective is so valuable as well, because it'll come into play a little bit later on in tonight's workshop. So AJ, I wanted to talk to you about, next we're going to talk about creating a financial workflow. What is a financial workflow?
So I'm so glad you asked. I'm going back to, I think what makes my approach and philosophy different than other business strategists is that I take into account your personal life, because we all have a different set of values. For me, I wanted to find the love of my life and have a baby and be able to be financially independent and travel, but like that was my value high goal. Others is I want to travel the world. I want to live in 4 countries. I want to own property in, in America and in Italy and like whatever. Or like I want to be the world's best esthetician. Like I want to be in all of the magazines as the world's best esthetician. Whatever those values are, basing your financial structure, especially like I'm talking my small businesses, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, it should be based around your whole picture of your life. So if you have debt needs to be in a conversation with your financial picture. And I think if I could simplify my whole workflow, it's how much money do you need? Do you know that number? If I asked you right now, how much money do you need per month? Can you just write in the chat, what that number is? Like to the T, exactly how much money you need to feel financially successful. Oh, we got some I knows. That's great.
Haley, Krista, Michaela, love it. No idea. I think the no ideas are really valuable too, because that's a great place to start.
Yeah, because is that taking into account retirement? Is that taking into account long-term financial planning? Is that taking into account short-term expenses? Like, let's say your best friend's getting married in Turks and Caicos. Let's say you want to go ahead and invest back into your business. Oh, that's like another whole conversation I want to get into. But so basically your workflow, to stay on track, is making a financial plan that includes you in it, not just the business, you. And getting clear about how much you need personally and then how much you need professionally in order to accomplish the next tier of your goals, and not getting sidetracked with the income piece. Because let me tell you, I know you all can make money. I know you all are amazing at making money. And the money piece, the income piece is not the problem. The problem is your spending. The problem is the lack of personal accountability when it comes to your day-to-day expenses. It's putting investments back into the business without not looking at an ROI to see how that investment is going to actually bring you more income. So, workflow. The workflow is, how do you spend when you're not working? How do you spend when you're working? How do we combine the two? And how do we get your systems working for you? How do we create, my favorite word, forecasting in your business so that you're treating your business like a business? How do we make sure that you can afford your bills for 6 to 8 months, maybe even 12 months? How do we set you up for the long term so that in 5 years from now, you're coming back and you're saying, I've quadrupled where I was when I first met you, AJ?
So you're saying that it's not the income piece. Like that is pumping in, but really the misconception lies around how you set yourself up for not only emergencies, but for the funds and the budgeting that you need. Where does that begin? Like, what is step 1?
Step 1 is you know what? Actually, you've already all done it. You figured out some of those identities you have around money and around business. Now, if you spent another 15, 25 minutes going over those identities and saying, wait, why do I feel this way? Where does that come from? Oh, well, my brother-in-law shamed me for being an esthetician, and I now have this belief about myself. Well, brother-in-law, what are you doing with your life? And then you're like, oh, wait, I love being an esthetician and I'm great with money. It's switching that narrative. It's understanding your money beliefs, where they come from. Also, are you getting the best advice from the people around you? Are you only surrounding yourself with other beauty professionals who are all struggling financially? Or are you surrounding yourself with CPAs and CFPs and people who are financially literate, who can give you the best advice? Are you asking your parents for advice and they're not capable of giving it to you because they don't know? So you start there. That's where you start. You start in your mindset, which is like not as sexy as being like, well, if you just set up this account, you will have all the money that you've ever imagined. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
And it is kind of it makes you believe that is how it's supposed to go, like magically appears. I mean, last month we had CPA Michelle Cook join us and talking all about specifically setting yourself up for retirement and budgeting your finances for taxes. And we also had another workshop last year all around our 1099Ks. So I think that the financial literacy piece is, for me, a lot of the times is what kinds of questions should we be asking, and it's almost like sometimes the questions that you really, really want to ask, but you don't know who to go to. I hope everyone here tonight is already I know people already tonight are feeling this way, but AJ is an incredible resource for talking about this with, and especially setting you up with maybe even the first few steps. I have shared AJ's Instagram link in the chat, but if you need it again, I'll throw it in there right now. AJ, I wanted to go back to one thing that we were chatting about in terms of like changing your financial reality starts with you are here. Your financial workflow is about your present and your future.
Yep.
We had some questions from the audience that I think are really poignant to what we're trying to convey. And I'd love to get them out here so that we can talk about it together as a group. Give me one sec.
Amazing.
So here we go. So one of the questions that we got from our community was, how can I create a financial plan that's perfect for my beauty business?
Cool. So the first thing is you need to know your number. The first thing is you need to know your goals. So what are your goals for your life and what are your goals for your business? And then that's going to dictate your number. So it's figuring out, okay, let's say I am a hair, I cut hair, and I also do I do balayage, and I do extensions, and I do it all. And it's mapping out, okay, how much do I make per service? What's really consistent? There's a little bit of like data analysis you have to do. And You're like, you know what? I actually found out that I make almost nothing from hair extensions, and I'm spending a fortune doing it, but I've decided that I made all this huge investment in all of this stuff, and I feel like I should be doing it, and I feel like that's the next, but you're not making any money from it. Then it's like, okay, bye, go away. But oh my God, I am consistently, and I can't wait for Amber to dive into this. Oh my God, it excites me so much. Like, I am consistently booking the same clients over and over again for hair cutting. Okay, that is your bread and butter. That is your financial stability. We boost that up. How do we boost that up? Do we charge $10 more a session? Is that going to get you to your number? Is it like, oh, included in the haircut, we add XYZ? So maybe it's like, oh, there's upcharges, there's upsells. Oh, I love a good upsell. You tell me you want me to have the conditioner, I need to sit there and the toner, whatever. I don't care. I'm into it. Give me a foot massage. I don't know. Like, no, don't. You stick with your skills. But it's thinking that way around what is really successful in my business right now, and how do I how do I enhance that for my own benefit first? And then the client, how am I going to service the client as well? So that it's not like you're out of integrity. You're not giving me a foot massage as a hairdresser, but you're saying, oh, I could easily charge another $15 for adding a leave-in conditioner.
And I think you bring up a good point, AJ, because a lot of the times with the services, especially when you talk about add-ons. Now, I'm not the type, I've had the clients that have been loyal to me for over 10 years. So I don't come off as a cheesy salesperson. However, a lot of the times you can't sell from your own pocket, right? So if people don't know that you offer a certain type of service and you're not letting them know, you don't know. Someone may have saved up their money. Maybe when your clients got a bonus at work and they've been saving up because they really wanted to splurge on whether it was a balayage or whether it was a certain type of service. Maybe they've been saving up for a certain type of facial that they want to do. If they don't know you offer that, or that there is an extra sort of service that you can be on, you are doing yourself as a professional a disservice. Now, I'm not saying that's going to fix all of your troubles, but if you can start narrowing down things that make you unique, things that make your business really special, and if you do have that loyalty, people are gonna come back and wanna work with you and book with you and spend with you.
I love that. I just want to highlight something that you said that I think is so important is don't spend other people's, like, don't make assumptions about other people's money. You have no idea. So like you're saying, like they could have been saving up, they could have been, and they also like, it's not your job to like meet your client where they are necessarily. It's like if you think that the price is working, and then you have to go for it, or at least try, right? What's going to happen? You're going to lose everybody? Maybe. And then maybe you're going to have better clients who like value your time and respect your boundaries.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's great, and we do have a couple questions in the chat. One of them I think is really interesting, which is, depending on your clientele, how do you know when and how to approach raising prices, especially if you have some unique clientele that may be in a demographic that can't afford that, but you can't afford to lose them as a client?
I love the flexibility of being a small business entrepreneur. You have a say, and you can do sliding scale, and you can offer special promotional offering for a subset group. Something that I did for years was I like had a allotment of my lower income clients that I would save like two to three spots for in my programming, so that I always had room for them and I felt energetically really good about it. And if people can afford your services and there's certain demographics who can't, then the other people can pay a little bit more if that's going to get you to your bottom line.
Yeah.
And I think time and integrity. So something that really bothers me with my beauty service, the people that I've used for beauty services, is when like I don't hear from them, or like there's no communication and that lack of consistency with the business. Like, so be in communication and be present, like in their emails, like once a month, just like showing face and letting them know. And like, you can let people know in a really integrity way, saying, hey, like, I'm just letting you know my prices are increasing. Like, I'm going to grandfather you in for X amount of months, as my special, or I'm going to do this extra thing for you. Like, there's ways. I think the biggest thing why people don't increase their prices is not because they're worried people won't pay it. It's because they're afraid. They're just afraid, because people will pay it. Like, what are we talking about? Are you talking about $100? Or are we talking about $10?
Yeah, that's a great point, AJ. And thank you for helping us feel a little bit more confident in initiating that conversation. I think one of our team members earlier in the chat mentioned that she uses something called invisible scripts, which I hope I'm interpreting this correctly, but it's more so of a script that you follow for these particular situations. Ella, if you are there, feel free to indulge in the chat and sharing a little bit more about what your invisible scripts are for, but having, I think, also unique ways to communicate with your clientele, staying in touch with them, following up after appointments, and helping them feel welcome throughout the time that you're not seeing them will help increase that loyalty. And maybe when you do increase those prices, they know that you're taking yourself seriously, and there's a little bit of FOMO that goes along with that too. There's a lot of questions about promotions in the chat, and I think it's a really unique way to capture new clients and engage with existing ones. But I'm going to encourage us to talk about that a little bit later in the conversation, because I think it'll come up a little bit later. AJ, second question that we got was, why is it important to know my customers' preferences when managing my salon's finances?
Well, my first initial thing that's kind of like a subset of this is just customer service. Nothing feels better than walking into your coffee shop and them knowing your order. Like that extra little bit of like care. It's just the best feeling in the world. It's like when I was going to my esthetician while I was pregnant and she gave me like the facial, like the pregnancy facial. And it was just like, I didn't have to worry. I wasn't stressed. It was like that feeling. And like my massage therapist, like she gave me the massage there, the massage, the what it was called. I was pregnant. The massage, pregnancy massage. That's the words. Thank you. And so that's essential. You have to have that customer service.
Prenatal is the word that these three adults on a call could not come up with. It's okay.
Thank you so much, Trina. Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Trina.
Oh my God, thank you. The other piece, and Amber was highlighting this about the makeup. It's like you will save so much money managing your products if you know what your clients have and or what they need and like what you're servicing. And I was talking about this with Danny and Amber on our call last week, and I think what can happen as entrepreneurs is we get really excited by the new shiny thing that we're going to invest in our business and we're going to get this new product and we're going to get this new service. It's like, okay, I do beauty. So Amber does brides. She does hair and makeup for brides. Okay, I'm going to add this laser thing where they get like 15-minute laser thing. It's a $4,000, whatever. Put it on your, I don't know if that's something a bride would want, or like something to depuff the eyes, like right before you get married, whatever. And it's like we get all these fun ideas, but it's like what's at the base, the core of your business? What is that? Stick with that. Make sure that that's consistent, that that's running, that that's smooth. It's like for me, private clients, my group course, they've been running for years. They're a well-oiled machine. I've never launched a course and I've not sold it. Like it's a machine. Now it's been 4 years. Okay, 2 years. I can slowly start to add on.
I think that's really important. Like find your niche, right? And just really elaborate that. And it took me a while too, because I can say, and I'm sure I can speak for a lot of us here in the beauty community, where yes, you want the new shiny thing. You want the new product. Do you know how to do airbrush makeup? Do you know how to do contour? First of all, just like, what? Yes, of course I know how to contour. But
do you?
But having your niche, because I finally just said, you know what I like to do? I like to do pretty makeup. I like to do bridal and I like to do event makeup. I like people looking their best on a day that they have to feel really confident and be able to walk somewhere. And you know what? I can do special effects. I can do other stuff. Do I love it? No, not really. And does that make me the most money? No, it's kind of just sporadical. So yeah, sporadic. So to your point, yes, find your niche, stick with it, find what's going to make you money, and then do your bookings that way. And I think it makes a big difference.
Yeah. And you're saying no to that special effects, really cool thing, but you're not depending on it, one, for your finances for a month, a year, however long. And two, you're not investing in it, both time and money that you never get to recoup.
Right.
Yeah, and if you want to scale your business, you have to make smart decisions. And but I will say, like, I think taking risks is still important, and perhaps testing out a new service is still relevant, but not putting all your eggs in the same basket in that way, or in that vein, is probably the best way to explain that.
Yeah,
And
I love
AJ,
that.
I just want to bring up in the chat too, a lot of professionals were asking about what they do during the ebbs and flows. So really busy time and then really slow time, and how to budget there. And I know I can attest to that as well.
I love this conversation. So the key is understanding the natural currents of your business model. So for example, like Amber is doing it, let's say she was just doing weddings. She knows that there's like an ebb and flow of like when that's going to be. And so then she can kind of earmark, this is going to be a busy month. I'm going to have big cash flow and I need to make that money. So let's say Amber has 7 weddings in 1 month. That's a huge amount. That's huge, right? And then let's say the next month she has 2. I don't know. Is that a lot or a little?
I mean, ideally, if I'm doing it full time, we want to be Friday, Saturday.
Okay. Forgot what I said. She's 20. She's 20. And then the next month, it's going into, she has 2 for whatever reason. Maybe she's going on vacation. She's taken time off. Her family member's sick. She's going to help them. She's not working. You need to make that money from that 20 event month last. And this is where people think the money's in. This is the income. I have the money and I'm going to spend it. I'm going to reinvest back in. I'm going to pay off all that $10,000 worth of credit card debt that I racked up. And all of a sudden you have no more money. And then you're in the same cycle over and over and over again. You have to forecast out and anticipate that there are going to be months where you don't make money. Can I give you an example of this? I just got off of maternity leave from my own business. I took maternity leave. Why? Because I created a product that I sold in February, and it was a 6-month payment plan, and it lasted me until August. So and on top of that, I had obviously an not obviously, I have an emergency fund and I still have income coming in. I knew the day I had to go back, I was like, all right, September, the money's done. Not necessarily because I have other streams of income coming in created over the years, but the main big chunk is done. So I go, okay, cool. I'm going to use August to recoup and relaunch for September. And guess what? I'm actually creating a program that's going to bring 10 months of income to my business. And that's specific to me, but you can do that as a beauty professional as well with forecasting and looking at your data and understanding your ebbs and flows within your business and not taking the cash flow and immediately paying off debt or immediately buying that new thing or immediately doing something and really spreading it out through budgeting.
And I think that's like the, forgive me, but the trigger word in terms of like, but that is the scary part, I think, is the sitting down. Something I really value about the both of you and in tonight's conversation is that it feels like you're my friend, and that everyone needs a friend to help them see themselves in some way sometimes. And so working with CPAs, working with a financial coach like AJ, or even talking to a fellow beauty pro can be really beneficial to gauging how far off am I from like what I could or should be doing, and mostly understanding that having that, going back to what we were saying earlier tonight, taking yourself seriously means setting yourself up for success by shining a light in the dark corners, looking under the scary covers, and really like kind of addressing it and like standing up to it. But I think that comes in time. And if you're not there yet, I'm here to tell you that it's okay if today is day 1. Even if that clock has reset 10 times, there's always going to be a day 1.
And I think it's like getting back to what your why is, because it's not there's a lot of days when budgeting, especially in that beginning stage of my journey, was not fun, was really not exciting, was really painful. Actually, I remember like crying for 3 days because I like got an increase in my student loan payment and I couldn't afford it and I didn't know how I was going to pay it because my budget was so tight, and just like not being able to speak for 3 days because I was so devastated about it. Like there are a lot of days that are not fun, and how do you push through that not fun into the next shiny distraction? And I think you have to get clear about what you're doing it for. You're not just doing it to grow your business. You're not just doing it to make money. You're doing it for something greater than that. It has to be, or it's never going to land.
Yep. We've talked a lot about the vision boarding and the manifestation that comes through thinking about your brand, how to identify who you are through your business. We've talked a lot about in the past setting yourself up for financial success, but also setting up your mental health for success. And AJ, I can't help but think about how those spheres overlap and the intersection of mental health and finances. And if I know our GlossGenius community, I know that there are some really, really successful and brave individuals out there, most who are on our call tonight. And I think getting to that place could feel and seem really far away, but starting with these building blocks of a financial workflow, forecasting. What's another F? We can make it a triple F. I love an acronym. Like we'll come up with it. But you know, that workflow, the forecasting, and I think it's like, actually, I loved. I'm going to probably get in trouble for this, but I loved that middle finger that you threw up to whoever that was, because I think it's like
your brother-in-law.
Yeah, but like insert here, right? What if that was not just like a real person, but that green monster within inside ourselves that tells you you're not good at this. You didn't go to business school. You're not qualified. This looks like a hobby. You're just an influencer. But you're still making appointments to come see me, like I think that there's a lot of ebb and flow there, and I just want to harp, and I know how easy it is to say take yourself seriously. Like, of course I'm taking myself seriously. You're waking up every day and you're putting on your face and putting that courage forward, but really breaking down, you're not alone. This is hard, but you're not alone. And we say this all the time, that working independent doesn't mean you have to be on your own as well.
I really love that, Danny, because it goes back to like the taboos and breaking taboos. Like the reason why I am doing what I'm doing today is because I felt so alone on my financial journey, and I thought everybody had it figured out and I didn't. And once I started getting my finances in order and like the dust and the fog was clearing,
Yep.
I realized that everybody is bad with money and they're all just faking it. And there's very few people who are actually good with money. And it doesn't need to be that way. And you don't need to be alone. You can absolutely lean on people, but it's getting really honest about, are the people around me actually have my best interest? Are they actually capable of giving me the information I need? And what do I need to change within myself to change this narrative?
I'm getting honestly emotional because I think that this could be applicable to anybody, anywhere, like even in any industry. But and I'm seeing a lot of this reinforced in the chat, that folks are really grateful that we're having this conversation. This has been a part of our financial empowerment series this summer. Is maybe this is your downtime season. Maybe this isn't. Maybe this is your busiest season of the year. Wherever you are on that spectrum, there are ways to get off not even getting off, just taking a seat on the path and looking inward and becoming aware of where you are and where you want to go. And I think that's that forecasting aspect, AJ. And I know a lot of people are really hungry to find out, okay, plan, but when does it actually happen? I think that reservation and that control is also internal control, and knowing about and having that accountability as well. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would say I can sum that up into one word, which is trust. What budgeting taught me was how to trust myself. And I was waiting. I kept I was a yoga instructor. Like I was like as woo woo as you can be. And all I wanted to do was trust the universe had my back. But I didn't trust myself. And the way that I didn't trust myself was that I kept dating the same types of guys and I kept spending my money like it was going to change before me. And when I learned how to trust myself, that's when everything fell into place. And I trust my business. I trust it's going to be successful. I know where I'm heading and I know why. And I trust that it's going to happen. And there's doubt. And when I feel doubt, I think there's usually this feeling that like I'm actually getting closer to where I want to be. It's like it's like, oh, good, you care. Like it's there. It's scary. I'm scared. I'm nervous being here talking to all of you, but I'm trusting in this moment that I'm meant to be here. And I'm trusting in myself that I'm capable of communicating everything that needs to come out so that you feel like you can take the next step forward. Now I'm getting emotional.
I really love what Jessica just shared in the chat, AJ. I think it encapsulates what you were just helping us understand and see ourselves. Is I have a friend that's extremely good with finances and does well for himself. He told me it's time for me to fold my business. That pushed me even more to show him that he's wrong. I can make this happen. I can live my dream life, and do what I love. I mean, if that's not it, right? It's not just about pushing the really good finance friend or the friend that works on Wall Street who's telling you this is where the market's going. It's about that trust. And I think someone wrote it earlier, Galicia, you shared faith. And, insert word here that translates and resonates with you. But really, that element of trust is a mix. It's a cocktail of risk. It's a cocktail of trust. It's a little bit of chutzpah. In my Jewish family's culture, we say that it just gives you that oomph, that opportunity to push past the doubt. And I love what you said about doubt, AJ. That can also be an indication, not just of it, maybe imposter syndrome, but more so. Well, at least it's there's a string that's reverberating within me. That fear is actually a sign that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Krista, you said trust yourself by believing in yourself, but I know that a couple folks are asking, how do you start to trust yourself? And I think that this is a larger conversation, but if both of you could just sum it up into one sentence, how do you take yourself seriously and trust yourself and trust the process?
My finances felt like a tremendous hurdle for so long, and it felt like it was really holding me back. And by prioritizing it, I and never wavering, and which meant that I had to say no to things and I had to say yes to things. And it put me in my out of my comfort zone. And by making it this focal point and this anchor in my life, and then seeing the return on my investment so immediately and so powerfully, it made it like very, very easy to trust myself because I consistently showed up and I wasn't consistently rewarded every second, but over time, I just kept doing it over and over and over again. And it stopped being this question in my head, should I? And it started becoming my reality.
Yeah. I can even attest to, I can see it in the chat too. Someone said that they are moving their business. So I get that. I moved from California to New York City. I lost my entire client book. And, maybe I was doing well there, but then I got to New York City and talk about a tough place to open up. And I remember being really upset and talking to my hairstylist best friend. And she said, well, you have a lot of downtime. Why don't you get on Instagram and start making some videos? Why don't you start playing with some makeup? Why don't you start putting yourself out there? She's like, basically that tough love, like, okay, you can sit there and cry, or you can do what you're good at and put yourself out there. And, I was, this is back in 2018. I don't know if I was as heavy as I've been on social media. And I was like, all right, here we go. And then people responded, and then people sent it around. And not to say that happens all the time. Sometimes I'll get a post that has like 20 likes, you know what I mean? But just the fact that you can sit in your situation, or you can do what you got and do what you love, and just hope that it catches on there.
Yeah. I just wanted to say one more thing that Jessica inspired me to share, is that I was like labeled the poor friend. Like that was my identity in all of my groups of friends. And I have a lot of friends. I have 12 bridesmaids. Like just for context, it was a big wedding party and I was the poor friend. Do you know, I think when you ask me why I trust myself, my friends, my best friends since I was 2, since I was 11, they come to me for financial advice. I don't think there is any greater accomplishment. No money can pay for the level of validation that I'm in exactly where I'm meant to be than my closest and dearest people who have seen the whole trajectory of my life trust me. Because I trust myself.
Oof, I just got chills. That was really special. And I think that's really interesting that was your identity, AJ, because I would never have guessed that just by your confidence alone in the past couple of weeks that I've gotten to know you. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, my pleasure.
Amber, I know that the next part of this workshop tonight was to dive in a little bit to GlossGenius's features that help beauty and wellness professionals manage their business finances, and specifically some of the features that we are offering next with our GlossGenius Gold membership. So why don't we hop into that? I'll stop sharing my screen here, and then I'll let you drive.
Absolutely. And we'll just quickly go over it, but yeah, just some really great built-in features that GlossGenius has. If you are a GlossGenius member or you're not, booking site completely all in one. So your clients can visit it, they can book their appointment, you can take payment. It's your website. I used to pay for a separate website. I used to pay for a domain. I used to pay for someone to do this. No, everything is just here now. So on that note, let me go ahead and share my screen. And we'll go into the GlossGenius app. All right.
Wonderful, Amber. Take it away.
Perfect. All right. So one of the first things, and I know I touched on this earlier, is about requiring deposits. Now, I'm going to go ahead, and this is what your dashboard would look at like when you open up your GlossGenius app. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the settings here. So I'm going to click on this pink gear, and I'm going to go down into, first of all, I'm going to go into our services. So this is everything that you offer as a professional. These are your services. And if you attend a Getting Started webinar, I will go fully in depth in this. But to spare us tonight, I'm going to go into a way that really protects your business. So I'm going to go ahead and pick balayage. Now, balayage, you can see, takes 2 hours and 35 minutes. Price is $300. This is something as a professional that I would like to secure a deposit with, right? So what I'm going to do is, and also I want to mention this starting app price I really love because it will list $300 plus. So if your client comes in and you realize it's going to take a lot more energy and supplies than the $300, they know that the price can fluctuate, which I like that. We're going to go ahead down and go require deposit. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking. Hey, I've had these clients forever. I don't want to require a deposit for everybody, but maybe just for my new clients. Boom, we have that option here. So what's going to happen now is when your client goes in to book an appointment, it's going to pop up that prior to booking, they're going to need to put down their credit card and take that $150 deposit here. Now, if you're just requiring this for new clients, they're not going to know any better. They're going to think, okay, this is the precedence here. This is what this professional requires. And then great. And then you, as the pro, are going to get that deposit in your nightly, your end of day. So that's going to go into your payout. All right. So that's just keeping your
That's like a mind-blowing experience, I think, for some professionals who have not been able to really nail that invisible script of how do you ask somebody to do this. But when you're putting your finances and you're putting out, you got to protect yourself and your business by and using GlossGenius helps you make that conversation really easy.
Or not even a conversation. They're literally just clicking on your site.
Exactly.
And you're filtering through those flaky clients, right? And then 2 hours and 35 minutes blocked off on your calendar. Time is money, people.
Yep.
I'm not wasting my time here. Someone needs to show up for that appointment, and putting down that deposit just secures it even further. All right. So
I think one of the things that I wanted to ask you, Amber, was what about that protection of my business? What about chargeback protection and cancellation policies?
Yeah. So, well, doing payment processing with GlossGenius. So with the card present transactions, you're going to get that chargeback protection. So let's go into actually a cancellation policy. So we rolled out this feature this year, which is probably one of my favorites, because if we go into our settings here, so again, we would go into this further in another session, but here is where you could put down your card requirements. And again, you can select whether you'd want it for all clients booking an appointment, new or never. Now on the cancellation policy, so let's go ahead and go down to cancellations. So obviously as a professional, we would recommend that you set up a cancellation policy, boundaries, right? So by toggling on this button here, cancellation policy required. So what's going to happen is a client will be required to acknowledge that they read your policy at the time of booking. So what you're going to do here is set that window at 48 hours. And then, or 24 hours, whatever seems like it would work for your business. Put in your fee. So this professional puts in 50%, again, dependent on what you would like to charge. And then you're going to list it here in this policy. So it's very clear. Now, this is also going to show up on your About page when you're booking. So when they log into your website, your cancellation policy will be there. And then if you toggle on this required, it's going to pop up again when booking the appointment. So if you're requiring credit cards from whether they're new clients or existing clients, if you have a no-show, you can feel more confident going ahead and charging that fee. And then how this is going to protect you is, say you have a new client, you charge them that they didn't call you, they didn't show up. You charge them that 50% fee, and then they call their bank and they say, why did I get charged from Amber's salon? I didn't go there. When the bank goes to investigate and pulls up your booking website, they're going to say, well, you acknowledged that you read their policy ahead of time and you checked that off. So 9 times out of 10, it's going to rule in the pro's favor.
And we also offer chargeback protection for professionals who do find themselves in a situation where there is a dispute. So GlossGenius definitely has your back in that case as well.
Absolutely.
Which mental health, like just feeling safe and protected is one of the elements that we want to emulate with all of our professionals, is feeling like you're setting yourself up for success and that we've got your back.
Absolutely. So wrapping up here, I'm going to go into one of our other new features, which is our instant payouts. So we understand at GlossGenius that the federal banking days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you get your payouts. Now, anything taken after Thursday night at 8 p.m. is going to roll into your weekend, right? So you've got your Friday, your Saturday, and then Sunday night, when you get that email that says your money is on the way, that's what's going to be deposited Monday. Now, we understand that sometimes it's not as flexible as that. And as AJ has attested to, sometimes you don't have those funds available. So we now have instant payouts, which is going to be available 24/7. So you're not going to have to wait for the weekend or a specific cutoff time. And estimated time of arrival is about 30 minutes. Instant payouts will have an additional fee of 1.8% to get your money early. And this section that I'm in right here, so you would go into your app, you would click on your payouts, and then you would confirm the amount that you would want to cash out. And you'd confirm that selection, select payout now, and then that would be deposited into your bank account in 30 minutes or less.
I mean, let's just talk about expectations versus reality. Like expectations, we were talking about this with AJ earlier, like you're living your best life, you're traveling, you're going out, you're taking the vacation that you really need. But in reality, you're on your days off, you're concentrating on following up on your inbox, making sure that all the responsibilities you have for your business, going to Salon Centric, getting all of the supplies, Sally Beauty, stop, and being a human being all at once, taking care of your life, not to mention if you're a parent. And having the opportunity to get that instant payout can make or break your weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we know beauty pros, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays are normally very heavy days, especially myself during a wedding season. If I've got weddings Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes you've been waiting on that money. You've been, again, Danny, fronting all the products and everything that you would need before it. So, or maybe you have some assistants on it and you got to pay them out as well.
Sure.
So just having that extra just help to have that instant payout is another great bonus. And then finishing up here in the app, I don't want to keep you here too long. Just wanted to mention that part of our gold plan, which supports multiple members, so not just for the solo business, but for teams that have additional team members, we now have started separate bank accounts. So the team owner would be able to delegate who they can empower the team and have a little more control over their finances. So they can now enable their team members to link their own bank accounts. And the payments processed from the checkouts will be associated with the team member's name, and they get paid out on the team member's personal bank account. So this makes it a lot easier for that business owner as well, because now they're not figuring out the reporting and who is allocated what funds. Now we do have the option where it is separate.
That's incredible.
And I think that really encapsulates taking control of your business finances, because even if you're a team member, you're still working and you still deserve that opportunity to manage your own finances without having to go through a gatekeeper. Not to say that that gatekeeper would ever hold that back from you, but the confidence, the autonomy that goes along with that is like feeds that confidence at the same time.
Absolutely. And before I switch this right over, just want to say while I'm on this screen, when we were talking about maybe moving locations, and I know we have some people in the chat that say they were, we've got our built-in email marketing, text marketing, and social templates. So these are just built-in ways that you can send a blast out to your clients, or what we were talking about before. Maybe you've got like a certain niche, and if you get, say you're running anyone who books a Brazilian wax for the summer, maybe you're throwing in a brow wax, or for a referral, if someone refers you, maybe you're throwing on an extra, whatever you'd like to do. And instead of having to individually text and reach out to people, we can send out these curated blasts to your clients.
Amber, thank you so much for joining us tonight and being the GlossGenius expert. I feel like you have such a special perspective of what our software offers, these pros from your own personal experience, but also you just get it. And when I think of how GlossGenius has your back, I think of you behind all of this, being there to receive, and just the way that you've helped receive all of our community members here tonight as well. With that being said, we definitely went over tonight, and I have had you for an extra 15 minutes. If I could just take a couple more minutes of your time, I did want to just recap some of the big highlights and takeaways from tonight's. And I would say it is encapsulated into 4 words, which is from panic to power. And that's one of the things that we really care about at GlossGenius, is empowering you to make the right decisions for your business, taking calculated risks while also building a loyal clientele and taking control. And I think one of the biggest takeaways that I learned from AJ tonight, and that I'm hearing resonate through our community, is really, when you change your relationship with money, that is what elevates the business. So perhaps it's less about the promotion and raising your prices, but more so about the ways that you're, forgive me, promoting yourself and raising your confidence and really finding that within you. And I know tonight's been kind of both value-based and product-based, but I really hope we walk away with this feeling of, you can do this. Just, it's community over competition. You're independent, but you don't have to be alone. Those are some of the motifs in our community programming that I always want folks to walk away with. And I think, the importance of budgeting and forecasting and the financial workflows that we were talking about earlier, if it feels overwhelming, that's okay. Starting from day one. And if today's your 7th or 17th or 700th day one, that's okay too. AJ, I'd love to turn it over to you just to share any final thoughts or words of encouragement that you have for our community members.
First, I just want to thank you all so much for staying on and getting to know you a little bit in the chats and hearing what you're working through. Echoing back that you can have the life of your dreams. There's absolutely no reason, if I, a person who was terrible with money, who was designated the poor friend, slept on people's couches, can have this beautiful, fulfilling life, successful career, happy marriage, living within my values, traveling, doing all the things that I want to do, going to get my eyelashes done on Thursday. Like, there's no reason why you can't too. And I really want you to know that you are capable. You are capable of achieving this for yourself. And I have loved chatting with you, Danny and Amber. I mean, I can't wait to hang out one day because I know it's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to send a couple of links, if that's cool.
Please do. And I've shared AJ's Instagram in the chat. That's a great place to get to know her, follow along her journey and all that she has to offer. We are also going to include some of these great links and resources as a digital goodie bag for later this week when we share out the recording. But I know we had some questions that we didn't get a chance to get to tonight. We're going to share these questions with AJ, and in our recap, we'll go ahead and answer them for everyone who gets access to that recording and the highlights and key benefits from tonight. Thank you so much.
Oh. I just wanted to say that on my Instagram, because someone said that they didn't feel like we gave any actionable tips. I just wanted to say that on my Instagram and on my blog, there are so many step-by-step, literal step-by-step processes on how to start. And this was just a sampling. So I do hope that you go check us out at Beyond the Green Coaching on Instagram and check out our blog. I also gave you access to my newsletter. So that's it. I send weekly newsletters with personal finance, education, and information. And then I'm giving you guys exclusive access to our new Heal Your Relationship with Money course for small businesses. We're only taking 10 small businesses, and it starts in September. And you guys get first access before we market it out to the world. So it was such a pleasure. I just wanted to highlight what those links were.
Thank you so much, AJ. And we're so lucky to have you as a resource within our network at GlossGenius. And this isn't the last that you'll hear from AJ as well. We've got tons of amazing motivation that we're going to come out with soon with her. So thank you to everyone who joined us tonight. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Amber. And if you have any more questions, feel free to shoot them our way. If you haven't tried GlossGenius, this is a QR code for you to scan. And if you aren't already, please do follow GlossGenius on all of our networks, from Facebook to Instagram, YouTube, and now TikTok. Wonderful. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. And thank you again.
Bye.
Bye.